Welcome to the show. Earlier this week, President Donald Trump addressed Congress for the first time since his inauguration. Ken, what did you think of the president's speech, and do you think there was anything in that could appeal to both sides of the aisle?
Well, I would really hope that both sides of the aisle would want to see the country succeed. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of disparaging comments from a lot of friends, especially on social media. I don't know. I'm personally, I really don't have an opinion on the speech. I really don't. It was a presidential speech. I was interested in it as I was the Oscars. It just didn't appeal to me.
Tom?
I actually fell asleep before the end of the speech.
Well, that's
I saw
That's inspiring.
Good speech.
Good portion of that, but it was a rather, as presidential speeches go, it was rather mediocre. I think a lot of people would kind of agree with that if you're comparing it to some other speeches given by other presidents in the recent half century or whatever. And it really was just a retread in very nice, softer forms. They sanded a few of the edges, and he was really basically saying the same thing he's always been saying. He made his Republican base and the Congress people, Republicans, happy that he didn't go off the rails. It's a rather low bar, but they were really relieved, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan. You could see they were relieved. Once it was over, they could breathe. So, I found it kind of boring in that respect because, I follow this stuff and he was just saying the same old.
Henry?
No substance.
I watched it. I was, some of the critiques I saw was, about him reading off of a teleprompter. He looked a little awkward with that. He's not the teleprompter in chief that we had before, so I can understand that. But
the teleprompter in chief?
yeah, past President Obama. He did very good off of a teleprompter. I'll give him kudos for that. That's one of the things that he was actually successful at. But with Donald Trump, he seems a little awkward in front of the teleprompter. It was a better performance this time than past times in front of the teleprompter. His message, as Tom alluded to, was a little softer, not quite as abrasive, and it was towards the Republican side of the...
Well, I actually was watching and commented to my wife and noticed somebody else who wrote in the Atlantic magazine also noticed the same thing. I said, he only looks over to one side of the room almost all the time because he's comfortable with getting
The reason
good
is there was
feedback.
so much glare on all those white dresses over there. It would blind out the teleprompter for
Yes,
him.
but then he did that, so the optics weren't very good that way for somebody who wants to be a unifying president.
and
I
one-
noticed that right away.
But the optics aren't very good when the Democrats didn't stand up for virtually anything of what he said. Some of
Well, you
which
can't
were,
blame him. That's usually what happens.
You know what?
Whoa,
That's-
you can't blame
That's
him.
garbage.
You can't
Hold
blame
on a
him.
second.
You can't blame him.
Hold on a second now. All right, you can't blame them for not standing up.
Yes.
All right. Now, Henry, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong on this. How many Republicans didn't stand up for Obama's speeches?
Oh, I think there's
heck of a lot.
probably I think there's probably a smattering as we went through on things that
A smattering.
and
Okay.
I
No,
say
all right.
I think there,
But-
I think
I'm
there were
being fair
times on an
here.
Obama speech
Yeah.
where no Republican stood up.
Okay.
Specifically,
but when we're
But the
talking
Democrats
about
absolutely gave him a lot of grief over
the
it.
point
All right,
is,
so-
point is that all of the stuff that was so bad that the Republicans did when Obama was in office, now
Nobody
that-
shouted, "You lie."
yes, but there was a lot.
Nobody shouted
there,
that.
there was a lot of disparity.
Nobody shouted that.
That's because that would require
I
some
will
form
put
of
that on the
intellect to
record.
and
voice it.
maybe he didn't lie. Maybe Trump didn't lie.
New York Times had a report on this today.
I'm just talking about rudeness.
New York Times did a report today on Trump's facts that he was stating. They did a truth finder. And ironically, they said that he may have stretched the truth somewhat on some facts, but the truth that he used in his campaign and the truth that he had in his speech was factual or factually accurate.
No, it wasn't.
But
I
it
watched
was.
some of it. I read some of it too.
Even the New
No,
York
no,
Times.
a lot of it was not accurate.
What wasn't accurate?
Well, just take one example about crime. Number one, immigrants, for instance, commit crimes at much lower rates than native-born Americans. That's documented. He said that, the chaos, the crime rate has basically gone down for some decades in spite of a few ups, but it's way down than what it used to be.
But it is up
So what
And
prior to earlier years.
He directly is referring to that as some kind of a runaway thing, which is not at all true.
Well, we don't know if it's an aberration yet or not, because
I mean, look, that's just one example.
crime did spike over our lows that we've had up through the early 2010s.
It spiked 1 year.
So let me ask you this.
Dude,
Why-
It's been basically in a downward trend. Everybody will tell you that who studies the statistics. That's
Why-
a fact.
Why
I
is
doubt
it?
it.
Why
It is a fact.
Well, the reality is he may be picking a particular point in time that which may be true.
Well, what? No, it's not. It's the trend is down
But
significantly.
What
the
kind of
trend
crimes?
was up in the period of time that he's
Most
referring
crime.
to.
Most
Yeah.
crime
And violent crimes up
crime,
in major
it
cities.
was much worse, like in 1990 something. And I lived in Washington D.C. I should know.
But
I'm sorry.
we know that
I know, I
violent
understand.
crime in
But that was back
Washington
during-
D.C. and Baltimore, the number of
Yeah.
murders committed back in the 1980s and 1990s was a significantly higher statistic back then than what it is over the last 5 to 10 years.
So
over the last 20 years,
let me-
crime has gone down.
let me ask you this.
tremendously.
he is proposing to spend, if what I heard was correct, $1 trillion on infrastructure.
We can't afford that. You really think the Congress is going to pass that?
I don't know. I'm just saying what he is proposing.
I know what he's proposing, and it'd be wonderful if they did.
Do you think, could we afford the $750 billion that President Obama spent
On what?
on theoretically
Exactly.
shovel-ready infrastructure projects?
Well, they did this is interesting. Trump is about the only president who has come to this first speech without actually having something before the Congress as a concrete law. Obama did.
He's still trying to get a cabinet
Obama
through.
had it before.
I mean, if we want to talk
That's his
obstruction,
problem.
he's
That's
trying to get his
problem.
cabinet approved.
Well, he doesn't even fill half the places in the federal.
He's not going to.
office. Well, that's a problem.
Why is it a problem?
It's a problem if you can't run the government with people who do it day to day. It's those people sitting in those buildings who do.
But it's those
actually
people
run
that has
things.
caused the problem that
Like
we've
the
had in
State
this country.
Department, like the State Department.
Yes, and it's a shame some of those people with experience decided that they wanted to cash out on their retirement.
Well, it's not simply that.
It's because they functionally disagree with what President Trump's agenda is.
Well, some of it, it is on
Okay.
their principles, some of it. But again, this man wants to spend them, okay, fine. But he has no concrete plans yet. You listen to that speech. Obama, when he came before the Congress for the first time.
And those shovel-ready jobs, what
Can
did
I
they
finish
yield?
my remark? That he actually had, whether you agree with it or not, he actually had a detailed plan up on the Hill before the Congress 6 days before he went to that podium. Trump has nothing. Nothing.
And
I'm just telling you that.
But-
And
but-
this is a function of his administration so far. He has
But would
nothing.
you agree that President Obama did not get? President Obama for the first 2 years had what President Trump is going to have. He's got he had a Congress that was his party. He had a Senate. He had the White House.
Trump has
Did he
this.
get as much done as he could have? Did
He got
President
a lot
Obama-
done. He got a lot done.
What did he
according
get
to
done?
historians.
well, we're still paying for what he got done.
Yes.
And our grandkids
Well,
will.
whatever, but he got it done. That's my point.
And
I don't-
maybe
Trump isn't going to
maybe
get it
Trump
done
is doing
because
more of a
he
Well,
measured
I don't know.
approach
I
instead
don't
of
know
going
that I agree with that. I think time
everything
will tell.
all out in front.
No, because usually they already have people who are having stuff go up to the Hill. They have the control of Congress. This is going to be 2 years already. The Republicans. And he
But
can't say-
they didn't have
don't
control of the White House
anything.
2 years ago.
They say it's absolutely imperative that we fix the ACA right now. Well, damn, they've been in control of the Congress for 2 years.
And they were
have no
facing a
plan.
veto,
Well,
and
but
they're
they-
powered
they
over
could-
our
they could
veto.
Plan.
They could
have
not get
no
that
plan.
through.
They
couldn't
have
get that through.
no plan.
It did not. Wouldn't matter. They
Yes,
could
it
have
would.
a million plans.
have to have
they
something
couldn't get it
ready.
through. The president was going to veto it.
I'm
No,
just going to
that's
say
not how
we
it
have
works.
now no excuse for not passing a budget. That's
Yes.
all I'm
Exactly.
going to say.
Yes,
There's
I
no
agree with
excuse
you.
for
There's
not
no
passing a budget.
excuse.
Let's turn our attention for the last couple of seconds
No
to
excuse now.
the Democratic response. What did you think of that?
Out of everyone who is a registered Democrat within this country, they chose the former governor of Kentucky.
Who just got beat really bad by
I
a
mean,
Republican?
why didn't they put Martin O'Malley there? At least he could have played the tune for us.
Yeah, I didn't get that one. Did you get that one?
I didn't really see the response. I had fallen
It
asleep
was-
on Trump before that.
It
So
was so they
he could keep my attention.
I
Sorry.
really thought he was in front of a photo. It was in a diner, and there were people all
well,
around.
I saw some things about
And I
it, but
really thought it
didn't
was
see
just a photo that he was sitting in
Yeah.
front of.
No.
Because
Maybe
none
he
of
was
them
on a green
moved.
screen.
None
Yeah.
of them moved
Yeah.
until the last second, and I saw when they panned back
Yeah.
for the ending, somebody went like this, and I thought, oh, they are alive.
But
Yeah,
you almost
well,
question
yeah,
if he
okay.
actually heard the speech because what he was discussing didn't really correlate into that.
And you're going to get the last word on that. Up next, our panel takes a closer look at some big changes that might be coming to our school board. We're back in 3 minutes. Stay with us.